I'm Denver LeBlanc. I'm a track and field athlete here at Hampton High School, Team New Brunswick, St. John Reds. And my desire to be one of the best in the province, one of the best in the country, is making me wonder what is one thing I could benefit in that an athlete from another sport would also benefit in. So how may I do this, you might wonder? Well, I'm going to see exactly what coaches are looking for in their athletes and what athletes are actually doing to be one of the best in their sport. So I'm here with the distance coach at St. John Track Club, Dean Strobridge. So Dean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been running for the last 25 years. How I got into it was a pretty girl at the gym asked me to go for a run one day, and the rest is history.
So how do you train athletes of pure distance?
It's a lot of base work. And so we'll do some like 10K junk runs, obviously long runs, which we would do on Saturday. And with track, it's more long distance training, more so than the short distance we do, say like on Monday night or whatever. So it could range from kilometer repeats to 2 times 5 kilometers. So just depending on what you're doing, whether it's half marathon training or marathon training.
So how do you take recovery?
I take it very seriously these days. Like we talked about earlier, 6 years ago, I probably wouldn't have said the same thing, but I think it's important. You beat yourself up, you have to recover from that. Rest has to be part of your plan. So as much as training is important, the rest is just as important.
So how do you mentally prepare your athletes for a race?
I feel that's mainly on you guys. You have to know what you're eating the day before, what works for you. I can't tell you that. And same with what you're drinking the night before, nutrition, when to eat before your races and stuff like that. So I feel it's up to you guys to figure that out, that part.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having the trip down here at Hampton High School.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
The second coach I talked to, I wasn't able to get a good interview in person. It's Tim Hayes, KV Boxing and Hampton Boxing head coach and founder. He responded with, I train my athletes in every aspect. Power, strength, speed, endurance, as well as sport-specific training. I then asked him, how do you get your athletes to mentally prepare for a fight? I then got the response, boxing is very unique and the training itself actually prepares you mentally. If someone isn't ready for competition physically and mentally, it shows pretty quickly. Recovery is vital right down to getting quality sleep. These responses just shows us exactly how two athletes from different disciplines can have altered training plans. One may need a lot more focus on strength, and one might need more focus on cardio. While these coaches make great points and great examples as to how these athletes may train differently, these professional athletes give a great example as to how this happens. Let's take this athlete for example, and we're going to cover a couple more athletes, but let's start with my favorite athlete, Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
Watch that clock, the world record, 7:20.67 is going to be smashed here by the Norwegian. It's a world record yet again for Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
Ingebrigtsen has a training focus on a high volume of threshold work, especially during the base and mid-season periods. It emphasizes consistent, controlled training sessions to build a strong aerobic base and prepare for race-specific training. His coach emphasizes heavily on a good strength and conditioning plan as well, but it is often done in rep and set counts to build muscle endurance. Our next athlete will be Shohei Ohtani, the only current two-way player in the MLB. This means he can pitch and hit. He had undergone elbow surgery for repair in a ligament in his right arm, which prevented him from pitching in 2024. That being said, he's looking to return to the mound while DHing later in 2025. And on his return, he has been progressing through pitching drills. In movements required for Ohtani to perform well, before each of his workouts, he does an extensive warm-up with stretches. As a two-way star, he does heavy technical work both in the batting cages, which allow him to make hits like this.
Here's a 2-1. There's a drive. It's a bullet. Was there any doubt? Shohei Ohtani arrives in October with a 3-run home run.
And he does a lot of mechanical pitching drills and simulation at bats to make pitches like this.
He strikes out swinging here against Ohtani in 1-0-2.
You said he was amped up, Stephen. Well, back to you up right here. 1-0-2 on that fastball after a couple splitters at 90.
The last athlete I would like to talk about regarding training is UFC lightweight striker Max Holloway, who is arguably one of the most thrilling athletes to watch today. I mean, just watch this last second KO against Justin Gaethje in UFC 300 to take the BMF title.
Minute 25. Holloway shows some mortality. Look at this. Holloway just told him, stand right here. Oh, big connection late. Gaethje face first on the canvas. Holloway wins the BMF title.
What a fight. To do this, he works in balanced fashion, incorporating technique work on the bag and in spars to enhance striking and grappling, and does a lot of strength and conditioning work to last in later rounds in a bout, and to make quick movements to make heavier progress on strikes landed. While training patterns often differ from athlete to athlete, coaches Dean and Tim both had identical answers regarding out-of-training habits, such as nutrition and sleep. Now I will head over to see a local natural therapist to get more to know about their importance. Hi, I'm here with Callie Drain from Simply for Life. Callie, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yes, so I am the natural therapist and certified personal trainer here at Simply for Life. So I work with my clients when it comes to exercise programming, nutrition programming. We do a holistic approach in terms of their sleep, their supplements, their medical needs, etc. So we just take that all into account to help them reach their goals, whether that's composition, athletic goals, things like that, and then we help them exceed and move forward with their progress. So when it comes to nutrition and programming for intentional exercise, there's a lot of factors that you have to take into account. So you have to take into account the carbohydrate source. So that would be, your rices, your breads, pastas, your fruits, your vegetables. So our carb family is our main source of energy. The next one is fat. So fats is essential for aerobic exercise as well. Think basketball players, like back and forth. Whereas if you have a longer tournament or a longer game, you want to make sure that you have adequate fats to help last you a little bit longer, to switch to a different system. The next thing as well would be your protein. So you have to make sure that you're refueling adequately. You have to know the sport that you're playing to make sure you're eating enough protein for muscle protein synthesis. And you also want to make sure that your calories are within range.
All right, so I've heard the saying, sleep is the best supplement you can consume. What is the truth to that?
Yeah, no, that's a really great point, and I really love that saying. Unfortunately, without the sleep, we're losing out on muscle protein synthesis. So I'm sure you've heard of the saying, muscles don't build under just stress, they build under rest. So without adequate rest, we're losing out on essential muscle building properties in our muscle protein synthesis process that happens. We recommend 8 to 10 hours per night of restorative sleep, and there's ways to help improve your sleep quality as well.